Assalamu alaikum everyone. So welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to teach you how to divide decimal numbers. Now there are like two situations to divide a decimal number. One is if you have to divide a decimal number by a whole number, and the other one is that where you have to divide a decimal number by another decimal number. So we are just going to go with the basics. We are really going to use like basic numbers, the basic dividend and basic divisor for both the situations. So the first target is dividing a decimal number by a whole number, and I will tell you how to divide a decimal number by a whole number. So here I have two different parts that I'm going to solve. It's like 4.6 divided by 2. Now what you have to do here is we are not going to consider the decimal here, the decimal point here right now. Okay, we are just going to treat this decimal number, the dividend, as a normal whole number. It's just that once we are done solving the number that is right before the decimal point, in this case it's 4, right after we are done doing this, then we will put the decimal on the quotient. So see how I am going to do it. So we are going to check whether 4 is divisible by 2 or not. Yes, 4 is divisible by 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 4, it's 0, or we can put a cross. Okay, you can either write 0 or put a cross. Now we are done solving this. That's it. The part before the decimal point is done. Now what I will do is, after we have done this, I will put the decimal point on the quotient. Okay, and I will bring this number down, that is 6. So let's see if 6 is divisible by 2. Yes, 6 is divisible by 2. So 2 times 3 is 6. Now 6 minus 6, okay, the minus has gone a bit off. Okay, 6 minus 6, either 0 or put a cross. Now let's move on to this next part, 4.68 divided by 9. Now it's a bit of a bigger value. You have like 2 decimal places over here. 4.68 divided by 9. So let's solve it. 4.68 divided by 9. Now what we have to see is 4 divisible by 9? It's not focused. So is 4 divisible by 9? No, it's not. So we are just simply going to do it with 0. So 9 times 0 is 0. 4 minus 0, it's 4. Okay, this is the division that we have to do it this way. If a number, if a certain digit, the first digit is not divisible by the divisor, what we do is we just do it like this. Okay, in the normal division, what we do is we bring the other digit together with it and we make it a 2-digit number. But for the decimal numbers, it's a bit different, and that's how we do it, that we divide the first digit. If it's not divisible by the divisor, we divide it by 0. So 9 times 0 is 0, and 4 minus 0 is 4. So now since we are done with this part, now I'm going to put the decimal point right above the decimal point in the quotient. Now let us bring the next digit down. Okay, that makes it 46. Now what is the number that is smaller than 46 in the table of 9? Well, that's 9 times 5, 45. So it definitely makes 1. Now let's bring down this 8. Now this becomes 18. So 9 times 2 is 18. 18 minus 18, either put a cross or a 0. So that's how you do it. Now let us move on to the next part, that is dividing a decimal number by another decimal number. How do you do this? So we are going to do the simple one first, which is this part. Excuse me. So this says 2.8 divided by 0.7. Okay, and the next one is 5.44 divided by 0.8. Now let us solve the first one. Now in the division of a decimal number by another decimal number, what we do is how we divide it is that we make the dividend and the divisor whole number. How we do that? So let me just do it on the side. I'll just do it somewhere here. Okay, so how will I make this 2.8 a whole number? We're just doing this for the solution, that's it. So how do we do that? We just move the decimal as many times we need to make the decimal number a whole number. So now this is like 28. Since the decimal point comes after the 8, and if a decimal point is after the two non-zero numbers, it does not have any value, so it's basically like 28.0, which is same as 28. And the next one is the divisor, 0.7. So for this as well, I will move the decimal point over here. Now for the divisor and the dividend, for both of them, you have to move the decimal point as many times as you need to make it a whole number, but it's specifically for the divisor. You have to make the divisor a whole number. But since if you are changing the position of the decimal point in the divisor, you have to do the same for the dividend. So first you have to change the decimal point of the divisor, that is this number that comes outside. Okay, so now this is 7. Okay, so what we are basically doing is, now this has become it's 28 divided by 7. So we will do it like this. 7 times 4 is 28, and 28 minus 28 is 0 or a cross. So basically what we did is that the answer for this is same. If you divide 2.8 by 0.7, it will give you a 4. What we did here is we just did that for the simplicity for things. Our basic aim was to make the divisor a whole number, and for that you had to move the decimal point and since you are changing the position of the decimal point in the divisor, you have to do the same for the dividend as well. So that's what we did. Now let us move on to the next example. Here we will just I think the things will be more clear to you people. So again, here we have to make this a whole number. Okay, I would like to correct myself that I mistakenly said that we have to make the dividend and the divisor both whole number, but basically that's not the case. We are only looking at the divisor to make it a whole number, that's it. So I have to make the divisor a whole number. Okay, and for that I will definitely have to move this decimal point towards the right so that it can become a whole number. And since I am changing the position of decimal point in this divisor, I will have to do the same for the dividend. Now let us see how I can make this decimal number a whole number. So let us move the position of the decimal point over here. Now this has become 8. Okay, Now, since I have moved this the decimal point in this divisor to make it a whole number, I will have to move the decimal point in the dividend as well. So whatever we have done to the divisor, we are going to do that to the dividend as well. Now let us see how will we do that. Now the aim here is not to make this a whole number, rather to just make things similar for both the dividend and the divisor. Since I moved this decimal point over here to make it a whole number, I have to move a decimal point here as well. And I have moved the decimal point only once in this divisor. So here as well, I will move the decimal point just once. That's it. My aim is not to make it a whole number, rather to keep things same for the dividend and the divisor. Okay, now you can easily divide it by like manually. So 54.4 divided by 8. Okay, so now what is the number that is smaller than 54 in the table of 8? First of all, definitely we are going to check the first digit. 5 is not divisible by 8. We know that. So we are going to take the 4 as well. It becomes 54. Now 54 divisible by 8 is how much? Well, 54 is not exactly divisible by 8. Rather, we have another number that is smaller than 54, and that is 8 times 6 is 48. So 54 minus 48 is how much? Well, that's 6. Now we are not going to bring this decimal down here, as I have told you in the previous target of dividing by whole numbers. So I'll just put this decimal right above this decimal point. Since we are done solving the part before the decimal point, now it's time to put the decimal point over here. Okay, so now I will bring this. Can I just divide this 6 by 8? Yes or no? Well, definitely 6 is smaller than 8, so it's not divisible by 8. So I'll just bring this 4 down. Now it becomes 64. So do we have 64 in the table of 8, or any number that is smaller than 64 that can be divisible by 8? Well, we exactly have 64 in the table of 8 that can be divided by 8. Okay, I'm just repeating a few things. So 8 times 8 is 64. Now 64 minus 64 is 0 or a cross. So thank you for watching this video. I hope this helped you understand the concept of dividing decimal numbers by a whole number and by a decimal number. Thank you and have a nice day.